Happy July! It's July! It's July. Welcome to July, everybody. Wow. This month is a massive month, let me tell you. And I'm going to walk you through the astrology as we go through every single day of the month, beginning with July 1st. Mars sextile Jupiter. This is profound because you know what this is. This is a call to action. This is a call to put your expansive powers of optimism and joy out into the world wherever you are going, and you are making it sense. You are making it wild. You are making it seen. And all this energy with Mars and Jupiter as in a beautiful sextile to each other is really saying be assertive and be willing to go out there and make things happen. It's like a coach to his team, sort of go out, make things happen, do all of that. And so Jupiter gives the faith, the optimism, the hope, and Mars gives the drive. So together you can make main things happen. Today is a day to achieve, to believe, whatever you believe today, you can achieve today. Because whatever you believe, you can achieve. As long as you work with the universe and not let it just give you everything handed to you. But you are reciprocating, co-creating with it. Because that's how this universe works. You co-create with spirit. That's how the spiritual laws go. That's what they say. So Mars in Gemini is really intellectual, very communicative, really agile. Jupiter just entered Leo, so it's the fire sign of fire and dynamic, passionate energy where you're shining your light and shining bright. And so now's the time to, put yourself out there in social media, really be driven towards social media. And because Gemini and Leo, communication, fun, hello, content for social media. So that's what I'm saying. And by the way, are you seeing let me turn this. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize that the light is funny. That was weird. Okay, so the light's weird. So enjoy Mars sextile Jupiter and have at it. See you tomorrow. July 2nd. So change locations because I found it much better right here. The way I have the charts, the way I can talk to you just like this. So, July 2nd. Mars is sextile Neptune. This is productive energy. This says, whatever you do, show compassion, show love, show kindness, show that open-hearted quality of being very empathetic. Can you be empathetic? Can you show some compassion toward others? What can you do that is brave, that is bold, that is compassionate? That is really heartfelt, really heart-centered. Mars is in Gemini, Neptune is in Aries, so can you reawaken the inner child and act from a place of truth and love and clarity about yourself, from a place of compassion? Can you inspire? Can you uplift? Can you heal others and allow others to become their own inner child? Give others the green light to explore what their heart's desiring, to be spontaneous, to be free, to be, liberated to live a life where they are living in alignment with what their souls want. That's really the key here. Because then we could find a lot of answers, a lot of questions answered, a lot of things like that. With Mars sextile Neptune, The question is, what can you do with the intuition, the heartfelt quality of compassion? And that is the invitation of this time. So enjoy this aspect, enjoy this day. And I wonder how you're doing in Mercury retrograde, because I'm filming this before Mercury goes retrograde. So I wonder how it is for you. How is it going? I want to know, and I'm curious to how I'll be feeling during this time. So, bye. July 3rd. The moon's opposite Venus. You know what I think of whenever I associate moon-Venus oppositions is there may be some relational overindulgence. Let me be clear. The moon is how you need to feel emotionally secure. The moon is contentment. Seeing two kids run outside in the backyard right now as I'm doing this. The moon is contentment. It's emotional nourishing. Venus is relationships. And when they are in opposition, this says, what are you overdoing? What are you resting too easy on? What are you overindulging in? Are you giving into overeating just because you're afraid to face the emotions? Are you not being the most mature with your feeling of emotion, with the actual feeling of that Venus in Leo, which is dynamic and proud and regal, and the moon in Aquarius? So there could be this push-pull between I want to be seen, I want to be big and loud, I want passionate relationships versus detachment, utter separation, utter cutoff from life. So what this really means is, can we embrace our inner child? Can we open up our hearts? Can we be open-hearted? Open to all the kind of things like that. Open to everything. Everyone. Well, what is in alignment with our hearts? And what is out of alignment with our hearts? That's really needing to be put into consideration under the transit of the moon opposite Venus. Boom! Sparks. Boom! Change. Boom! Electricity. At 3 degrees of Gemini, Mars and Uranus meet. This is very, very interesting. Mars is drive, action, motivation. It's what gets you up in the morning, it's your fuel. Uranus is the great disruptor, but the great awakener. Here is a deep question that I think is very Lilith and Gemini of me to ask. Because Lilith, Black Moon Lilith is shadows. It is what others reject us for expressing, but it's also deeper what we repress within ourselves that we need to bring out. That maybe I'm not liked by others, but it helps us to be authentic, and we can integrate those qualities. We can fully bring that out. That way, others don't reject us as much for sitting on that quality. Saying it under fire is all I can say about that. So, are you at liberty to share your ideas? Are you at liberty to share your mind, to share your truth, to share your, what is on your mind? What's on your mind? What do you want to share? Gemini is a sign of sharing information. If you felt suppressed, like you couldn't share your ideas, you couldn't communicate your truth and speak your mind, This is the transit that is saying break out of that limitation and be bold and be courageous and be an individual and speak out. I believe I'm going to do videos on Mars Uranus conjuncting in Gemini, so tune in. You'll probably already be seeing these videos by the time this video comes out. But really consider, how liberated are you? How free are you? How willing are you to share your ideas and break out of your cage? And Gemini is all about freedom, breaking the boundaries. So enjoy this energy, and tomorrow is the 5th. I'll see you on the 5th. Think of a dog just for a second. Just picture a dog, its eyes looking at you. You know what it wants? It wants some love. Doesn't talk. Doesn't have any words or have any agenda. Just wants a connection, wants you to bond in a way which doesn't require words. The first big aspect of July 2026 is Neptune and Pluto getting together into a sextile, which I'm going to discuss today. This sextile between Neptune and Aries and Pluto and Aquarius may have the dog running around in the yard, chasing sticks, getting a bird. I know that my grandma's dog got a bird the other day, so I'm doing this. Maybe the dog is in the yard, running around, having fun, being exciting, because, maybe it's not going to be tied down to any particular owner. It's going to be free. Maybe forming a deep connection with the dog itself can really, really help you to bond, to show compassion, to connect on a soul level. Where connecting with the dog helps you to deepen your spiritual connection with the natural world, deepen your spiritual connection with animals, and with people. Can you just stop talking and just be quiet and just be on a soul plane? Be connected and be willing to go deep. That's really the invitation now, is to go deep, because these are two very, very deep planets. Let me tell you, Neptune and Pluto, these are not baby planets, as they say. Can you inspire others to freedom with Neptune in Aries, Pluto, and Aquarius? But more than that, it's just a general energy. A fire trine is underway today as we have the moon in Aries, Jupiter in Leo. This brings excitement, this brings energy, this brings a dynamic energy to the forefront. Aries is the weight sign. It wants to go run, it wants to go walk, it wants to exercise, it wants to move its energy. It wants to be itself, and Leo wants to be itself. It wants to shine, it wants to express its creative gifts. This is saying there is abundance in being yourself. Don't you feel abundant when you are allowing yourself and giving yourself full permission to be yourself, to be fully in your authenticity? Because that's what Aries and Leo demand. Jupiter and Leo ask you to be creative, to put yourself out there, to be visible, to show your creative gifts. And so the moon in Aries is a sign of individuality and heart and stone and chisels and really all the things that make you who you are, the qualities and characteristics that make up your makeup, really. So the moon conjunct Jupiter can be truly who you are. Truly who you are. And it inspires faith. It's a good time to indulge in what lights you up. Indulge what gives you energy. Go for that high running. Go for that high roller coaster, travel somewhere. Do whatever is fun and playful and makes you feel energetic and alive. And really live out the full sort of rainbow of this energy, if you so must, with the moon trine Jupiter. How about it? Then the story isn't so bright, because after the moon makes a gorgeous trine to Jupiter in Leo, it then conjuncts Saturn. Well, don't consider this a Debbie Downer. Saturn does come after Jupiter, so anyway. The moon conjunct Saturn does ask you, the downside is it can really bring to light a lot of deep buried fears and insecurities. It can bring the insecurities and fears, like any hard, like when Saturn is like aspecting your moon square opposition and conjunct, like that's a difficult time in your life. It asks a lot of you to transcend your fears, to get honest with yourself about the emotional patterns and the emotional ways of being that are not serving your growth, and what you need to liberate yourself from in order to be that growth, and what you need to get serious about in your ego life, in your material world. So can you face the fears and insecurities? And it varies. Being yourself. Afraid of being your authentic self. Afraid of doing what you want. Living the life that you want. Being sovereign. Being independent. Being the pioneer, the leader in your life. Being the one who initiates everything. These are all things which might be insecure. Like Saturn is the chapter in our lives where we are working on the insecurity of being ourselves. And we're getting over this insecurity. Getting over this feeling of just lack of confidence. And it does ask us to get serious about where we're not confident, where we're not self-assured, where we're not authentic, where we're not all those kind of things like that. So, this is a heavier day, but it could serve a productive purpose for a lot of things involving discipline, work, release. Consider those attributes and themes for today. The world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place. Mm-hmm. We are the love. We are the children. I'm kind of waking you up in the morning today. We have an aspect that is all about collective change for the betterment of humanity. And that is because Uranus is sextile Neptune. Well, it's exact time, a little bit down the road, but we could talk about it today. We might as well just talk about it. I may very well be doing videos on this. Who knows? Uranus sextile Neptune. Uranus is a change bringer. It wants humanitarian change. It wants to advance humanity. Neptune wants spirituality, compassion. So with these two coming together, how can we uplift the world? How can we truly make the world a better place? Standing up for peace, rights. Standing up for the things that need, our attention. need our care, need our love, need our consideration, for caring for the world, for humanity, when it comes to all of the hatred and all of the negativity going on in the world. This is where we say, enough is enough. We need to create a more loving world. And Uranus and Neptune together in Gemini and Aries can help us create not only a more loving and compassionate world, but a more loving and compassionate world that allows everybody to be themselves no matter what, and doesn't judge others for being themselves. This is what we need to evolve, is we need the allowing for authenticity. This is the world that I want to create. I dream of a world where everyone is allowed to be themselves without judgment, where we know, where we have a detachment and sovereignty that others' opinions are just opinions, and we are liberated. And can we be compassionate? Can we hold space for everybody being themselves? I mean, that's really the key with Neptune and Aries, Uranus and Gemini, very, very active yang energies. So, enjoy. Venus enters Virgo today, and this is huge because Venus is in a little bit of a disposition in the sign of Virgo. Yeah, Venus is in the sign of Virgo. Let's talk about this. I have a deep dive video on the natal placement that I filmed back in March on my Cosmic Sky podcast. You can check that out. But the transit of Venus in Virgo asks us, because Venus is a planet of love and relationship and beauty. It's what we find pleasurable in life. It's what we find attractive in life, and what we're really drawn to. And it's in Virgo, which could be a little bit interesting because Virgo is drawn to health, the mundane, details, tables, chairs, lists, taxes. It's drawn to the well-being and the purity of pursuit of happiness. It wants to achieve purity. And Venus in Virgo is really, really discerning. Now let's just stop right here. Because in relationships, because Venus is the planet of relationship, can you be discerning in your relationships of what you're doing and where you're going? I mean, can you really be discerning and know what is right for you and know whom is right for you in your relationships, knowing whom is really right for you when it comes to, are they, what about their values? What about how well they can take care of themselves? What about how well they can clean up after themselves? What about how well they can manage their own lives and not needing to rely on other people that, like they're invalids? You don't want an invalid now. You want somebody who can actually stand up and manage their own life. Venus in Virgo asks you to be discerning about the people in your life. Are they really worth it to you? Are they really hanging out with? Are they really, worth hanging out with? Do they have their stuff together? Do they have everything together? Do they have every piece of fabric that they weave into the tapestry of who they are together? Or is their life a mess? Do they just leave Twinkies all over the floor? Do they leave their clothes all over their room? They don't clean up their space. So it asks us to look at the people in our lives that embody organizational traits. So enjoy this time with Venus and Virgo, and I will see you back tomorrow for yet another aspect or transit or whatever I discuss. And as soon as Venus enters Virgo, it opposes the North Node in Pisces. This puts the balance on the spiritual world versus the material world. What we can sense intuitively, what we can understand from a spiritual, more invisible perspective, more evolutionary lens, to something which is more, I don't know, what can I say?
it is more of a lens of the practical, the logical, what is in the here and now of our reality, which is Virgo, because Virgo is actually a sign that is based on the present, even though it is not a sign that's typically associated with the present, because it's just it's so up in its head all the time with it, like all the lists and all the details, like have to take care of it, all this and that. And instead, we can really, really remember is that love is never wrong. Love is never wrong. You are always meant to go on a detour in love and relationship if that partner betrayed you, if that partner short-sighted you, if that partner left you alone on the roadside. Love is never wrong. And so that's the message of this opposition, is that you may get into a relationship, and this is just in general, and the person may just be so familiar to you, so familiar in your own habit patterns. And the relationship is meant to go south because you're meant to flow, you're meant to be intuitively spiritual, you're meant to go to the high up with all the kind of thing like that. You're not meant to organize and have a plan and have a system. And this partner is a really organized system. They have a difficult time with accepting uncertainty. They need an answer for everything. And you just feel inside your soul like this partner isn't worth it for you. This partner isn't worth it for you in your own life. So you naturally leave the partner alone and let go of the partner completely, and you just have to let the relationship go. So love is never wrong. You were never meant to be in that relationship in the first place. You were meant to die the relationship and let it go. So let go of the old familiar patterns and do me a favor, evolve a little bit more here with the North Node of Pisces. Today, July 11th, the moon is in Gemini. Okay. Well, with the moon in Gemini today, the moon is a little bit flighty, a little bit all over the place, a little bit scattered over here and over there and over every little place. So let's talk about the moon, because we haven't just touched on the moon, in a while. The moon in Gemini is very mutable. It wants to change its mind all the time. And let's just talk about that. Like, Gemini gives us the freedom to change our minds. Gemini gives us the green light to say, yes, I want to do something different. Yes, I want to start this thing up. Yes, I want to make something happen. And when we change our mind, we get up to the hill and we find that signpost and we flip the signpost over and we're like, why didn't we do that before? We changed our mind. The signpost was meant to be upside down and not right side up. And what the signpost says when it's upside down is actually better than what it said right side up. It says home. And the upside is actually far away from home. And don't we want home? We're in Cancer season. The new moon in Cancer is coming up in a couple of days. So tune in for the airy vibrations. Tune in for the ability to change your mind. Gemini is not bound to promises. Gemini is not bound to commitments. Gemini is not bound to doing things in a structured, linear way. We have to follow the certain steps all the time. No, it wants to change its mind. And when it does this, it can really, really find a lot of value. So changing its mind is what it does best, because Gemini is not Taurus. It doesn't stay fixed on a particular objective. It just changes, and it just is liberated to turn the tables over and look at it from another side. So can you change your mind really, really well today? And can you be solid in that change? That's what I'm asking you deeply and briefly. What? That doesn't make any sense. Gemini says all these kind of weird things that don't make sense. But so, change your mind. And don't be afraid to do so today. So, have at it. Bye for now. July 12th. We are in the middle of the Mercury retrograde phase, and the Sun is at 20 degrees of Cancer, and Mercury is at 20 degrees of Cancer. Boom, they're conjunct. Or, fancy word I'm going to throw around, Cazimi. They are Cazimi. Okay, so you're like, what in the heck is a Cazimi? Well, it kind of goes a little bit beyond a combustion, because in a combustion, the sun is burning up all of the qualities of that planet, where it's weakened. It is at a bad place. It is, not a bad place, but a really, really weak place. All like Venus combusts the sun is like not the most loving, harmonious, cooperative, balanced sphere, because the sun's kind of really, really on Venus's toes and just stepping on it and just burning it up. But when the sun is about 16 degrees away from a planet, or when that planet is like 16 degrees away from the sun, then it is considered, well, okay, so Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. You want to think about that. And, I would really argue all the planets, really. I mean, I wouldn't just take it down to the personal one. But when it's in the heart of the sun, it's considered at its throne, at its best. And so now, illumination can come in, clarity can come in. All that we've looked at during this whole Mercury retrograde can be looked at, and we're finding new clarity. We're finding new revelations, new revolutions, new insights, new flashes of insight, new realizations that we haven't seen before around our emotional well-being, around our emotions, our emotional security, how we are focused on our own emotional needs versus others, because we're dealing with Mercury retrograde in Cancer, and how we survive. Really, really looking at that, because Cancer is a sign of survival, and it survives through its intuition, it survives through its instincts. And how are we surviving in the way of going up to the street and putting our nose into the cement and looking up and saying, there's that golden door, I want to go there. And to put forth the brunt of what you're doing. Remember that, putting forth the brunt of what you're doing to be able to survive. That's what you want to keep in mind. Any new clarity could come about during this time. Make the most of it. See you tomorrow. Let me ask you this question. Are you in a relationship where it seems like nothing changes? Nothing is different? Nothing rearranges itself? Nothing is made better? Nothing is improved? Nothing is looked at very, very efficiently? Well, because we have Venus square Uranus. Venus rules over relationship. It rules over love. And Uranus is the change maker. It brings chaos. It brings disruption. And so Venus square Uranus could be where it's like the straw is eventually going to break. And eventually, you gotta come around and change the thing that needs to be changed, because the square creates a tension, and you have to act on the tension to really, really make the most of it. It forces you to make a change. It forces you to come to a decision. So, if you're going along a certain path and you're finding that you're arguing and you're fighting, or you're being a martyr and the other is taking all the control, where do you need to talk about some stuff? Where do you need to change and have a conversation? Talk about, like, I need fairness in my relationship. I need harmony. I need diplomacy. Like, that could be a change. Or, we never go out very much. Let's go out somewhere. Let's go to a restaurant. Let's go to a park. Let's go... it could be that kind of thing where you want to get out of the house. So, Venus square Uranus puts the focus on an area of your life that needs change. And the thing about this change is that the other part of Venus is values. So the change, making sure that the change is aligned with your values in relationship, both and. So the change that needs to be made in relationship is a soul-centered choice. It must be a soul-centered choice, otherwise where are you going to go from here? The thing about it is, the relationship cannot change unless you actively play a part and you get in there and make things happen and make the change happen and actively stir it up so that it can change. So I'm asking you, I'm telling you, Restore up the relationship. Change what needs to be changed, because there may likely be a change that needs to be made. So take advantage. Don't let it fall by the wayside and stay the same. Anyway, have at this day. July 14th, the new moon in Cancer. Okay. So we are starting again. We were in the middle of the month. We are at the new moon, and it's time to set intentions on the area of your life that Cancer falls in your chart. Wait, what? I don't think that you talk about that. Well, I don't give this kind of forecasts, but I'm just saying that if your life resonates with what is going on in your chart, with separating out that little aspect, yeah, it could or it couldn't. I mean, I found that in some areas of my life are not active, and so that's why I disapprove astrologers now. They do things. But so, the new moon in Cancer, the theme that I want to focus on is nurturing yourself. Are you filling yourself up? Are you giving yourself enough love, enough TLC, enough care to nurture yourself, to take care of yourself, to fend for yourself, to not rely on anyone else to give anything to you? Although it is important to receive, there's nothing wrong and nothing, so receiving these things is very, very important. Receiving, emotional, well-being. We are receiving love, care. We are receiving nurturing. And nurturing kind of is a two-way street. Because we get nurtured by others, but we also nurture others. But then we nurture ourselves. What comes first, the chicken or the egg, right? Well, what comes first is ourselves, okay? So we take care of our own vessel, because you can't pour from an empty cup. So fill up your cup and take care of your own emotional well-being, and take care of what you need emotionally to feel good inside yourself. I mean, that could be, I could look up examples of how to, taking care of yourself emotionally, but I am kind of weak in that area. So I'm just saying, maybe a good new moon to spend some time nurturing. Although I do believe I will be doing videos on the new moon, which will probably be out by the time that this airs. So tune for those videos. Watch those videos. If you haven't seen them yet on the Cosmic Sky podcast, I'd go see them. So I'm doing this in advance, so, I haven't made them yet. Anyway, take care. Bye. Middle of the month, and this is where it begins to get interesting, let me tell you. Okay. So, another big aspect going on this month. There's a lot of aspects. Now let's talk about this one. I've been waiting to talk about this one. This is massive, and it is the Uranus-Pluto trine. Oh my gosh! Wow, I'm so excited for this one. Uranus is the planet of revolutionary change. It wants to break up the status quo. It doesn't want the things to be the same any longer. It wants things to be different. It wants things to be rearranged. And Pluto is all about change, transformation, digging up what is underneath the surface and pulling it up and saying, we need to look at this, we need to change this. So together, we will change, and we will literally not be the same society as we were before by the time all these conjunct trines are done. Because these are heavy planets. That if you are stuck in a comfort zone where you're just not willing to change, not willing to fluctuate, or whatever the term is, and that's where, well, it's not a square, it's a trine, so there's an ease here, there's a great flowing of harmony, you're easily able to change. So They're in air signs. So there could be new advancements in communication, technology. Just imagine all the technological inventions that are going to come out. And it's going to really, really be amplified with these trines. New technologies, new writing, new books, new sentences, new paragraphs, new articles, new novels. I mean, the possibilities just go on and on and on. So enjoy this really, really revolutionary, huge energy going on. And bye for now. The moon is in Leo. And the black moon Lilith is in Aries. Leo and Aries are both fire signs, so makes for a trine. This is a day where it's going to feel a little bit edgy. I'm just going to tell you that right now. And I want to discuss edgy while I have everything open right now to discuss the meaning of edgy, because there's a tension here with this day. The need to change, there's a need to bust out of your cage, there's a need to be free. You may be feeling a little bit irritable. Just to sort of warn you about that, because Lilith, and you're not going to want to say yes. You're going to want to say no. This is your opportunity to say no, and no is a full sentence. So the moon trine Lilith today in fire signs is an opportunity to stand up for yourself and focus on yourself and say no to anything, any situation, any relationship, anything that just does not serve your growth, that doesn't serve you from being your true self. Say no. Move it out, move it in. Cut it out, cut it in, and say no. You may be wanting to take risks today also. And you may want to push the envelope. These are kind of the themes that are percolating for Moon trine Lilith. There's an ease here where it feels right to be a little bit of a rebel, be it a little bit of an individual, and do things your own way, and go your own way. So you're being invited to change the path that you're on in order to break out of that stuck, stagnant structure, to go another way. And to make it very, very clear to yourself that I'm not going to put up with the pettiness of life. I'm not going to put up with all those little arguments, all those little things like that. No, I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to do my own thing in my own way. And that is the invitation of today. Wow, on the 17th of July, we have a beautiful influence. We have a very, very soft influence. And that is because the moon and Venus are coming together in Virgo. Virgo is a sign, as I've discussed earlier, I believe it was on the 9th and the 10th of the month of July. I do believe that Virgo is a sign of discernment. It is a sign that knows what is right and what is wrong. It is a sign that knows what is absolute and what is not. It's a sign that wants to serve. So you may find that in your close family relationships, you want to serve. You want to be there. You want to protect. You want to care for. You want to be a useful asset to your family life, to your home life, to your relationships. This may be the case with Moon and Venus coming together, as they might be asking you to serve the people in your life, serve your close community, serve your close family. And you may feel like those who serve you really, really make a difference. And you feel helped. You feel cared for. Like Virgo is not like a sentimental, emotional, comfy, cozy sign like Cancer is. No, it's a humble, modest, sensible sign that is all about genuine, selfless service. So what kind of service that you can give with intentionality, with authenticity, but what kind of service can you offer the world today? What kind of service can you receive from others today? What kind of service is really, really going on with you? Make the most of this aspect. It's going to come around again, I do believe, when Venus is in Libra next time. I may be wrong, but so anyway, that's all I want to say for now. Do me a favor and get stuff done today. Because Mars is sextile Saturn. And this is a productive aspect. This is getting stuff done. This is really, really making things happen. This is really making things happen in our lives. Getting it accomplished. Getting it finished. Getting it figured out. And getting it completed. Following through. Because Mars energy, Aries is energy, can start things and just not do it. Well, Mars sextile Saturn can say, follow through with this. Have a plan. Have a structure. Mars and Saturn are the two malefics, but they're two productive planets. And this is great for any hard work. Anything that requires a whole lot of effort, a whole lot of strain, a whole lot of strenuous attention and energy put into it. It requires you to be creative, be innovative, and be willing to put in the work. Because if you're not willing to put in the work, then this is where you can sort of, have a quarrel. So put in the work, go around the coils instead of just avoiding them entirely, and do the work. I mean, that's all I can say really, is do the work. Saturn and Mars are giving you the motivation and the drive to do the work today. They're lighting up an area of life in your chart or whatever that is asking you to commit. That now you have the stamina, now you have the determination, now you have the persistence to really stick it out and make it happen for yourself. So, make it happen. Do the work. As I said 1,000,000 times before, and enjoy Mars and Saturn coming together in their signs, which may be about fun and play, maybe about writing a book, or going out and exercise, or doing something fun and playful and energetic. But still is work. Like maybe a career that's like very Gemini Aries, but it's still work. Because if I didn't say it before, Mars is in Aries, Saturn is in Gemini. Excuse me, Mars is in Gemini, Saturn is in Aries. So take advantage today, and I'm not going to say it again. At the beginning of the month of July, we may have been in the doldrums. We may have really, really been in the doldrums, and we just couldn't find a way out of the doldrums. Because Jupiter, which is supposed to be the planet of benevolence and goodness and blessings, but it was in a square to Chiron in fixed signs. So we may have felt like, I don't have enough. I don't have enough shoes, enough clothes, enough. I don't have a big enough house. I don't have a big enough this. I don't have a big enough that. But if we can count our blessings, if we can focus on the simple things, nice food, shelter, the basic things that we have. Now, don't talk about whoever hierarchy of needs. Okay. Entertainment is a need, okay? We need entertainment. We need fulfillment in some way or another. Basic entertainment, like we don't have to go out into movies or whatever. But it's about counting your blessings, redefining wealth. True wealth is not just showing off the fancy cars, the fancy, clothes or whatever, but it is about counting your blessings and feeling a sense of inner spiritual abundance inside of yourself. That, you know what, I have enough. I have enough. I am a lot. And when we can count every little blessing that we have, we can really, really heal some of these wounds around scarcity. Scarcity mindsets, Chirons and Taurus. We can really, really heal these things around not feeling worthy and having all these material things define our worth. No. So during this square that Jupiter and Chiron are, I believe, the square is still operational. It was exactly at the beginning of the month. It still applies, still food for thought, focus on simple things I already have and, really, really count your blessings in that regard. That can really, really support you on your path right now. Now, my friends, another aspect that a lot of astrologers are talking about that hasn't happened in over 200 years. Jupiter in Leo, opposite Pluto in Aquarius. Okay. Now, this is kind of giving us a little bit of a taste of the next karmic chapter that we're going to be on, because the nodes are going to be in Aquarius and Leo coming up very, very soon here. So the balance between our personality, putting on the big show, being very, very self-expressive, drama, being shining in the spotlight, have all the attention be on us, and Aquarius, wanting freedom, standing up for higher ideals and humanitarian ideals. You can do your research, find out what historically happened during this time, get into the general look at this, and I'll get into the look at here. The general look at this is that it could indicate some power difficulties where you struggle for power. You just want so much power, it's not even funny. And Jupiter and Pluto is about huge money, huge power that's just extreme, that's just profound power. Profound and utter dismal power, I guess you could say. I don't know. But Jupiter Pluto could indicate also, where are we betraying our own heart? Where do we need to indulge the Jupiter and Leo with the heart energy? And where do we need to be Pluto in Aquarius, not caring what other people think of us when we express our heart energy, not needing external validation when it comes to expressing our heart energy. So, living out from our heart energy. Being in our heart energy. Being in that solid, loving energy. And can we be in our own sense of power without needing to dominate other people? But having our own sense of power, our own sense of sovereign power, I think that's really how we can make the most of this energy. So enjoy this rather difficult aspect, and so be it. Moving right along in the month. And today I want to discuss, if I didn't discuss it before, well, new advancements. I want to talk about new advancements today. I mean, what are the new advancements coming out? I mean, we could talk about technology, we could talk about AI, but we have the planet of expansion and philosophy and higher learning sextiling Uranus, the planet of revolution and change. So we see a way forward. This is a way forward. We see the way forward. It's like we're walking on a path. all of a sudden we see the light at the end of the tunnel, and the path is cleared for us to walk down. New hope is put away, where we can look at how we can create new advancements to have more fun in our lives. Now, in this sense, it deals with our relationships. It deals with the fun things that we engage in, the stimulating things that we engage in, the Leo Gemini things, because Uranus and Gemini, Jupiter is only us. So the fun stimulating things that we do, we see how we can revolutionize these fun stimulating things to make them even more fun and stimulating, because Jupiter is fun, joy, all these kind of things. So with Jupiter sextile Uranus, you could be committed to move on a new path, to literally have the faith, have the optimism, and get off the path that you're on and move to a new path that you're going to feel way more prosperous on, way more abundant on this path, way more abundant in this path. So move on the new path, be on that new trajectory, and move right along with the current of life. When you see the way forward, and you see, yes, this is where I'm meant to be going. This is where I'm meant to be heading. Yes, this feels right. This makes sense to me. So go on the path, do what's right, and you've got your self aspect completed. Limitless possibilities. Welcome to July 22nd. The sun is entering Leo today, so it's big and bold wildcat energy. Speak it with your chest out. Two things going on. The sun is entering Leo, so we're in the fun realm, we're in the creative realm. We are nurturing our creative gifts, we are shining, we are taking up space very willingly. But we are also seeing the potential of the infinite possibilities going on in our lives, because Jupiter is trine Neptune. This is big. I think I covered all the big aspects of mine. Jupiter trine Neptune. This is energy which says, you've got it. Just open the door, and you'll find the sea of motion picture readings. You'll find the sea of infinite possibilities. You can expand into the all. You can expand into the collective. With Neptunian energy, it's the big and not the small. It's the big picture, broad focus. It's the whole of the earth, the whole of the we're all interconnected. And now we're feeling more generous than ever. We're feeling more loving than ever. Now we can give from a full cup. Now we can give our hearts out. Jupiter and Leo, Neptune and Aries. We can give authentically. We can give truly. How do we want to serve from our hearts, from a place of, I want to serve, I want to give, I want to make a contribution in the world by being my creative, authentic self. Jupiter and Leo, Neptune and Aries. And I can do anything that's the creative in myself, creative infinite myself. The possibilities are limitless when it comes to what I can do to express myself, what I can do to have fun, to do what makes me feel alive, what makes me feel so good and abundant. And this is saying the universe is supporting you in this way. The universe is supporting you on this path to literally do this, to literally go to the desk and strip everything off and say, I want to make this a little bit more jazzed up, a little bit more fun. So take advantage of these limitless possibilities. I'll see you tomorrow where some exciting news is transpiring. Mercury goes direct today. Whoa! Whoa! We are resetting ourselves in huge ways. It's been a hot summer. This has been a time of going inside your house, going inside your own space. We've been reviewing, we've been reflecting, we've been feeling everything out. We've been really, really just feeling our own emotions and in the mess of the the sensitivity. We've been in our little shell, and then now we can go out into the world again. We can just, okay, Mercury retrograde is over. Now it's time to move on. It's time to communicate what we want to communicate. Now things are more normal. Now, you don't have as much of the focus of going back over things. You can operate in a normal way. Now you are seeing clarity that you never saw the events of July 12th to 14th, because I believe that was around the time when Mercury in shadow. You're seeing those events that occurred around that time in a different way, and you're moving on. Mercury retrograde turned direct is a moment of clarity, a moment where you can communicate what you need to communicate, learn what you need to learn. And in Cancer, just sharing all these feelings, because now you can share the feelings. Now you, in the soup of reflecting on what these feelings actually mean, now you can share all these feelings. You can share all these emotions. Now you have these new emotional truths, these new emotional well-beings that you have inside of you, because Mercury is in Cancer, and this whole retrograde has been about this. I have videos on Mercury retrograde. If you want to check them out in the Cosmic Sky podcast, they are well done by the point that this video is coming out. So focus on moving on, focus on moving forward, and have a good at it for the rest of today. And some more retrogrades are coming up. And do not forget about the full moon coming up at the end of the month. To just be discussed at that time, plus the Jupiter Sun Cazimi, which is coming. So look forward to those videos coming up very, very shortly. But even though Mercury went direct, Neptune is retrograde. Now, with Neptune retrograde, you are way more introspective, way more about your dreams, way more about your fantasies, where you're not really unclear with Neptune retrograde. Remember, planets that are retrograde are not in their full power. So Neptune retrograde means that all the delusions and illusions and the unclarity and the fantasy and all of that is just like put down, and we are going back over the degrees in Aries. And we are finding that we are more grounded in reality than we had previously been. Neptune in Aries is reviewing how have we not been sovereign? How we just let others and society and everyone around us dictate what we want to do and where we want to go and what we want to actually act upon in our lives. How have we not been sovereign in that? How have we not been authentic to ourselves in that? How have we not put ourselves first? How have we not chipped away at our own identities to the point where we are loving ourselves unconditionally, where we are standing up for our pride and ourselves and our way of being, where we are really, really being in the center of our life. We are leading from the center. We are being center stage and center motion pictured, and we are the center of our lives. We are reviewing any unconscious tendencies of aggression and anger that we were expressing, that we were not self-aware of these tendencies, because Neptune in Aries can be really, really not so self-aware. So we want to review that now. And this review will come to a close eventually, but it begins now in July. So the review is up. Do the review. Re-look at the things you need to look at. You will thrive during this transit. You will not just get through, but you'll thrive through it. So enjoy. Mercury and Venus are coming and forming a beautiful relationship today. This Mercury-Venus sextile is beautiful energy for being so incredibly loving in your communication. And they're in earth and water, so they're very, very loving influences. I mean, Mercury in Cancer is very emotional, it's very sentimental, it's very nurturing, wants the best for people, it's very, very benevolent because Jupiter's exalted in the sign of Cancer. And then we have Venus in Virgo, which wants service. So, what can you say to really, really make someone feel touched and loved and nurtured and cared for? What can you say to really, really make someone feel good? Someone feel loved and nourished? How can words of affirmation actually serve the person by nourishing them? Because I'd say that nurturing someone is a form of service. Service does include nurturing. So, this is the time to be focused on art, be focused on beauty, and Venus has the softness to communication. So in relationships, you could be kind, you could be loving, you could be very, very heart-centered, and you could love the other person for who they are. You could be in the right relationship where it makes sense just to be kind. Can you speak with grace and beauty and diplomacy and softness and gentleness? Can you speak with gentleness? That's what this aspect asks you, is to be gentle in your communication. So, gentle, soft, loving, you get the picture. Enjoy. I'll see you back tomorrow for another retrograde. Not the one you think, though, because I know astrologers say that tomorrow is a big day. Well, I looked it up in here. Not to be. Reevaluate your priorities. I'm telling you, look at them. Look at what you're doing. Look at what you're doing and see what you need to do to change your long-term goals. Reflect on where you haven't been the most disciplined and where you have not put the work in and where you haven't climbed up the mountain with willingness to do the things that you want to do, to live the life that you want. Have you sacrificed yourself with living the life that you want? Have you allowed others? Have you not been disciplined and motivated to do what you want to do to live the life that you want? Since Saturn is in Aries. Have you been slacking off? Have you been going, oh yeah, the universe will take care of it. Oh yeah, it'll be fine. Oh, I don't need to do this. It's fine. These people can be in charge of my life. No. This will be what you're reviewing during this whole period of Saturn retrograde in Aries. Where have you not stood up to yourself and stepped up to the plate and taking care of your own business and taking care of your own life and running your own life the way that you need to run your own life? So, Saturn retrograde could really, really put the focus and emphasis on themes around discipline, boundaries, structure, and seeing where you haven't made proper boundaries, where you haven't stepped up, where you haven't been disciplined in your approach to following through, moving in a linear way, getting the task done, doing all that. And it's going to ask you some really, really profound questions when it comes to where you haven't put the work in. So, some priorities that you've been focusing your mental energy on may be reevaluated. Point being, during this Saturn retrograde, review, reflect. And I think that you will fare very, very nicely for this long, extended period of Saturn retrograde. Well, let us change things up. Sun is sextile Uranus. Now, the Sun and Uranus sextiling each other really asks you to look at the factory that you're in Are you getting paid enough? Are you working hard enough? Is the work fulfilling enough? Are you serving enough people? Are you really making sense of the life that you used to live for yourself that is put in the handy for what it needs to be? Or do you need to change that work for yourself? Now, the sun is your identity. It is your ego. It is your personality. It's yourself. It's your core being. And Uranus is that part of us that just wants to break free. So you're being invited to get rid of the self-image that you have put with yourself and say, you know what, I want to change this self-image. I want to do something else to revolutionize myself. Change myself in and out. I want to be a totally different person. I want to go to a totally different place, go to a totally different way of being or whatever. This particular aspect of the Sun sextile Uranus wants you to look at where change needs to be put. Change is very important because change is what fuels the growth in life. And we're just so stuck doing the same old things that we're never going to grow. So it's time to change these things, change these patterns, change these structures, and do things differently this time around. I challenge you to do that because Uranus ultimately wants you to be your higher self, your high self. The sun, well, it's who you are. And Uranus says, you got to break free from this. You got to break free and just do your own thing. So, enjoy this day, enjoy this energy, and I cannot wait to talk to you about what's going on tomorrow, so stay tuned. It's exciting, it's exciting, it's coming.
We have a shift going on in the sky today, and it is the nodes changing signs. This is so exciting, this is so exciting. The North Node is moving into Aquarius, and the South Node is moving back into Leo. Now, collectively, we're going to be seeing all of the themes of Leo just fall away, and everything about Aquarius just rising, because that's what we're moving towards. K2 is weakening, Rahu is strengthening, so we're balancing these two things out also. So, when we're so stuck in the shadow of Leo, we can be overly melodramatic, we can be overly egoic, prideful. But the thing about the Leo South Node is people with the Leo South Node base all of their worth around what the audience thinks of them. And they just cater to what the audience thinks. It's all about needing the applause, needing the validation. And also just being so consumed with the little minutiae of that drama, what's going on there. But ability over visibility. The North Node is moving into Aquarius. So now the focus is break free from these limitations that society has kept you from just being yourself. Express your creative gifts, do all that high road of Leo. But don't limit yourself to what the audience wants from you. Oh, I like what you're doing, keep doing it. No, I don't want to keep doing it, I want to do something else. So break free. And when it comes to this detached freedom that you have, you can actually collaborate with this energy. You can bond. You can think about the good of humanity. You can think about not being so in the drama and in the emotions of situations. But the North Node Aquarius asks you to think of the group and to detach. But don't let me confuse you, because the North Node Aquarius can be really, really, move this over here, can be really, really liberating, needing to be liberated from just the audience and the whole thing about that. So use this transit to your advantage, and really, really just do your own thing. March to the beat of your own drum. Don't base it off of what the audience wants. During this next period until March 27th of 2028. So you have 20 months. 20 months almost to work with this energy. So, have at it. A full moon in Aquarius is brewing. Okay, so this full moon rounds it all out. During this full moon, we have Jupiter opposite Pluto. I think that this aspect is activating the full moon. But this full moon in Aquarius is the perfect beginning because we just had the nose changing signs just the other day into Aquarius Leo, and now having the Aquarius full moon. So, what is the Aquarius full moon about? What kind of shadows around the group are needing to fit in, of being the outsider, of being the outcast, of being the one that stands on the sidelines and just observes and is objective? But what about, consider this, what about getting out of the logical, planned out schedules and have fun, play, sing with life, enjoy all the pleasure, enjoy all the creativity. Leo season is here, so enjoy all of the goodness that can come with Leo season around fun and play and laughter and light and celebration. And Columbus is just around the corner on August 1st, so we're going to acknowledge that hopefully when we get to August 1st. But anyway, now we're talking about this month right here and now. So, focusing on right here. This aspect invites you to focus on, well, it asks you to nurture yourself. Wait, that's not right. It asks you to express yourself and shine in your own light, and be creative. The Aquarius polarity could indicate that maybe it's a time to liberate yourself from the status quo, liberate yourself from the society's standards, and just do your own creative thing. March the beat of your own drum, do your own creative thing. We're invited to balance out the two signs of Aquarius and Leo. So can we balance these two things out at this time? Can we make a simpatico between all the energies? Can we? Can we not? That's our choice. At 6 degrees of Leo, the Sun and Jupiter were conjunct. Still energy around here to now. Welcome to July 30th. So we are one day away from the end of the month. Okay, so this time right here is a time where it's time for the fair, like the fairground goes around at this time of year. So anyway, this particular aspect gives us luck and growth. It's known as the luckiest day of the year. Is it? Sun conjunct Jupiter expands our blessings. Now we can go out forth in the world with faith and hope and optimism. Travel, explore. We feel so abundant. We want to express. We want to engage with the world. We want to explore. We want to do all these fun things. So allow yourself to engage in all these fun things because you'll be feeling so optimistic and incredibly fun-hearted and incredibly willing to go out and go big. Sun conjunct Jupiter gets us into the mindset of we only have one life to make the most of it. And in Leo, time to look at how we can expand our horizons, of how we can self-express and be our true authentic selves and shine in our own light and really, really not be afraid to put ourselves out there, because the Sun is at home in Leo and Jupiter is in Leo. But still, it is a time full of growth. How we can grow is to truly be ourselves. How we can grow is to truly expand and to be the version of ourselves that we think of ourselves to be. And that is put in the maker shiftings for all that we have going on. So take advantage of this day and this energy of the Sun conjunct Jupiter just past this conjunction, went on during the full moon happening, just the other couple of days, but this energy is so very big, so very bold and loud and whatever. So take advantage and enjoy the energy of Sun and Jupiter coming together in Leo. See you on the last day of the month. Then I'll be back in new clothes for the end of July doing the videos for August. So tune in for that when I get there. Okay. You're given a choice here. What are you going to choose? Relationship or your own personal authenticity? Ooh, tough choice. Well, what if you can change the restriction of authenticity around and actually have a relationship where you're fully allowed to be your authentic self and with the person that you're with? I shouldn't say in with, because don't you want to be with the person? That usually when I say in with, it's like, I don't want to be with this person. But this is saying enjoy their company. Enjoy their presence. If it helps you to be yourself. If that relationship and experience helps you to fully be yourself. Because Lilith wants to say no. And Lilith in mythology just said no to Adam because she didn't want to do a lot of inappropriate things. And she, just by saying that, was cast out of society. So, there's maybe a little bit of tension, because you doing your real thing has to come up with a little bit of a conflict with that relationship. So compromise needs to be made. Talking out with the partner needs to be made. How can you be fully yourself and not have to shrink into a box? But also have a good relationship. I mean, whatever is percolating right now in your life with this aspect, today, consider how you can work with the person that you love and that you care about and not against them. Because now you're like, this structure, even where no matter how freeing it is, I want to break free. Remember that Venus-Uranus conjunction that we had earlier this month. Now it's saying time to, there may be a lot of shadows with relationships. Maybe some shadows going on, some shadow content. Maybe there's negative relationship patterns. Maybe there's some negative behaviors that are just really, really edgy that are going on in a relationship that needs to be talked about. So the energy is a little bit tense today, but enjoy it and make the most out of this day of Venus square Lilith. Venus is in Virgo, Lilith is in Sagittarius. So, this could mean a lot of things. I'll see you next month in July. In August. Bye for now.